A genius with innate full attributes was called a waste, simply because, when I changed class, I awakened the most garbage Taoist class in history. Even the school that paid top dollar to recruit me treated me as a disgrace. But what they didn't know was that on the day of the class change, I had already awakened the divine Heavenly Master system. As long as I recited the 3,000 Taoist Scriptures, I could become a Purple Robed Heavenly Master. Now 3 years have passed. Amidst countless mockeries from classmates, I have finally completed the task. At this moment, a golden light descended from the sky, landing directly on me. The system's voice also sounded in my mind. At the same time before me, 3 small figures with different skills appeared. The first small figure radiated boundless golden light. It was the golden light mantra. The middle figure had white lightning coiling around both hands. It was the thunderclap method. The last small figure sat cross-legged on the ground, with the 8 trigons and strange gates slowly rotating around it. It was the strange gate escape art. All 3 skills were ridiculously powerful, but I was only level 10 and could only choose one. But thinking that the college entrance exam would be held in the outer city the day after tomorrow, I had to become stronger in a short time. So I finally chose the golden light mantra. As cultivation began, the level 10 that had not moved for 3 years finally began to loosen, and then progressed by leaps and bounds, successfully reaching level 14 on the day of the college entrance exam. The content of the exam was simple and brutal, killing alien beasts. Each alien beast represented a different score. 3 days. As long as enough points were accumulated, one could be admitted to the corresponding university. And when my classmates saw that I was also taking the exam, each of them revealed mockery and contempt in their eyes. But what happened next shocked them even more. The 2 school beauties actually invited me to team up with them at the same time. Song Xinrui was a level 15 summoner, with strong strength herself. Shen Yue was even a level 16 hidden class, moon elf priestess. Seeing this scene, everyone looked at me with even more contempt. Even a dog could graduate with this lineup. Even the teachers were completely stunned at this sight. Song Xinrui and Shen Yue could easily get into a key school by joining any decent team, but they insisted on bringing a deadweight. Sure enough, several hours into the exam, the 3 of them still had 0 points. But what they didn't know was that I had already planned the point farming route. First was the bloodthirsty rat den. Song Xinrui randomly summoned a tusk boar. Under mental control, the boar walked toward the rat hole. In an instant, 6 or 7 calf-sized bloodthirsty rats shot out from the jagged rocks and charged at us. I exploded into action. The rat running at the front was sent flying high into the air. The remaining rats stopped and looked at their companion flying upward. Then the immense power brought by the immortal body cultivated with the golden light mantra was perfectly displayed by me. The few rats were quickly dealt with. I looked down at the points. The 3 of us had accumulated an average of 60 points. We continued using the boar to attract rats. After a few rounds, the 3 of us had an average of 200 points. Finally, the bloodthirsty rat king sensed something wrong and emerged from the stone crevices, covered in blood-red fur, its body several times stronger than ordinary bloodthirsty rats. The moment the rat king appeared, it saw the corpses of its minions everywhere. It turned red with rage and charged at me without a word. I quickly formed a hand seal and chanted softly, "Heaven and earth are the sovereign, all energies are the root," cultivating through countless eons to manifest my divine powers. Within and beyond the 3 realms, only the Tao is supreme. My body is covered with golden light reflecting upon myself. As the words fell, a faint layer of golden light quickly covered my body. My pupils also turned golden at this moment. Facing the charging rat king, I planted my feet firmly. Boom. The collision kicked up a cloud of dust. Only the sounds of fists hitting flesh, and the rat king's roars could be heard. Soon when the dust cleared, the 2 girls could finally see the battle clearly, shock appearing in their eyes. I was pressing down on the rat king with one hand, while my golden glowing fist kept landing with the other. The level 16 rat king had no power to resist. The next moment, the rat king's massive body slowly fell to the ground, completely lifeless. And the teachers from Ningchuan No. 1 middle school in the outer city were somewhat shocked looking at the 3 scores, rising like a rocket, instantly pulling ahead by double the score. After clearing the bloodthirsty rat den, we used the same method to clear the reef snakes in the swamp forest, and with the cooperation of the 3, killed a level 21 reef snake. At the same time, the entire Ningchuan Education Bureau stared in disbelief at the rankings. The top 3 had identical scores, 369 points, while 4th place had only 259 points. As time went on, to get higher scores, we decided to head to Hunter Fishing Port in the alien beast zone. Facing these human-faced fish beasts, I had no fear in my eyes, only excitement for battle. But as more and more fish gathered here, a larger shadow slowly swam toward us. Shen Yue, who was a moon elf priestess, had an extra sensitivity to the natural environment. Sensing something wrong, she immediately switched to moon elf form and flew upward. At a glance, she could clearly see a massive shadow over 10 meters long, at the bottom of the lake, slowly approaching me as I fought the human-faced fish beasts. The moment she saw that massive shadow, even Shen Yue felt the threat of death Panicking, she immediately dove into the lake. Seeing this, Song Shinrui also knew something was wrong. She instinctively looked at the red button on her wrist device. Just as she was about to press it, both Shen Yue and I emerged from the water. At this critical moment, a massive fish beast as huge as a whale also burst out of the water. It opened its gaping maw to swallow us both. I pushed Shen Yue hard toward the shore with both hands and fell back into the lake. With a splash, I was swallowed by that gaping maw and disappeared. Shen Yue and Song Shinrui stared at this, unable to believe it. It all happened too fast. Too fast for anyone to react. Song Shinrui no longer hesitated and immediately pressed the red button. She no longer cared if she would end the exam early, as long as I could survive. The rescue team that had just arrived at the alien beast zone changed expression the moment they received Song Shinrui's distress signal. They had been ordered to protect those 3 children no matter what. They rushed toward Hunter Fishing Port. The 2 girls stood frozen on the shore, completely at a loss. Just then a 5-man rescue team arrived. After understanding the situation, they quickly set off toward my location. Meanwhile, I was inside the giant fish's stomach. The oxygen in my chest wouldn't last much longer. Not only that, this stomach was filled with corrosive liquid. Only the golden light sword could cut through the stomach wall. A 3-foot clear wind sword extended from my sword fingers. The corrosive liquid quickly enveloped my entire body. My remaining pants were rapidly dissolving. My skin began to burn. At this critical moment, I gambled everything and thrust with all my might. In an instant, the stomach wall was cut open. Sticky organs and blood pressed in. But I didn't stop. My golden eyes filled with the majesty of a heavenly master. I kept cutting through the organs with the clear wind sword. Pushing forward step by step, the giant fish beast began to thrash in pain, blood spraying from its mouth. Seeing this, the rescue team dove into the water without hesitation. When they reached underwater, they finally saw the massive fish beast over 10 meters long. It was a level 30 devourer fish, comparable to a 3rd-class alien beast. Then under everyone's shocked gaze, I emerged from the devourer fish's belly holding a golden sword. I had cut a hole in its stomach, and almost all of its internal organs were completely destroyed. After violently struggling for a while, the devourer fish lay still, completely dead. It had never imagined that it would be killed by the food it had swallowed. Instantly, all 3 of our scores surged. A level 30 alien beast gave 5 times the points. All 3 reached 600 points, and this was only the 2nd day of the exam. At this rate, we might break the record of 879 points set by the A-Slayer team. I surfaced and said to Shen Yue, "There aren't many human-faced fish beasts left in the water. We'll change locations tomorrow. Rest here tonight." The 2 girls had no objections. Then I kicked the boar's rear. "What are you standing there for? Go wander around the forest." The boar looked aggrieved, but still got up and headed into the woods. Before long, a group of alien beasts followed behind it. These beasts had been hiding nearby, watching the 3 of us all day, the tempting boar offering itself up. Couldn't resist and charged out. Seeing this, I couldn't help but smile. That 600 plus points owed a lot to this boar. It had attracted another wave of points. Shen Yue expertly blessed it with Moon Blessing. The already fast boar sped up even more. Just as the group of alien beasts of varying levels caught up, we were already prepared and struck quickly. Song Shinrui commanded the corrosive snake to charge out first. Shen Yue also switched to Moon Elf form, spreading her wings, and joined the fight among the beasts. These beasts were mostly level 10 or even lower. Only a few level 20 beasts were no match for the 2, and were easily killed. The battle ended quickly. Song Shinrui suddenly exclaimed, a faint glow emanating from her body. I keenly sensed her aura had grown stronger. It seemed she had leveled up. The corrosive snake and tusk boar also reached level 16. Near Hunter Fishing Port, there were some broken wooden huts, built by previous hunters. They were barely usable for rest. Like the previous night, the 2 summons kept watch while we rested. I didn't know until I cultivated that the 6th cycle of immortal patterns was already more than half inscribed, probably because I had fully activated the immortal body in the giant fish's stomach. Under the stimulation of those corrosive liquids, the process of inscribing the immortal patterns had accelerated. Truly a top-tier Taoist body refinement technique. These mysterious and powerful patterns looked fascinating to Shen Yue and Song Shinrui. They were curious. For some reason, staring at these patterns for too long made them feel comfortable too, and their meditation speed increased. Was the Taoist class really useless? A night passed quietly. After a bit of tidying up, the 3 left Hunter Fishing Port and entered the jungle to hunt. Same routine, using the tusk boar as bait. The 3 and the snake hid in a forest clearing. The boar was rubbing its back against a tree in despair. Though thick-skinned, it was nearly rubbed raw. But this action made it easy for beast to think it had let its guard down, a signal to ambush. It had already lured over a dozen beasts with this trick. Sure enough, a patch of grass in the jungle suddenly rustled. The next moment, a fierce black pattern leopard burst out, incredibly fast. The boar let out a terrified squeal upon seeing it, and turned to run without hesitation. It was a level 22 shadow leopard. Even the boar's speed was almost too slow, but after a few steps it was swatted away. crashing hard into a large rock. Before the boar could struggle up, the shadow leopard pounced on it, its powerful claws pressing down on the boar, opening its maw, aiming for the boar's neck. Just as the boar was about to meet its end, several moonlight blades flew in rapidly. The shadow leopard reacted quickly and leaped away before the blades reached it. All the blades struck the tree behind. The shadow leopard glared fiercely at where the blades came from. The boar took the chance to scramble back. It had nearly been scared to death. Shen Yue and Song Xinrui prepared their skills. I charged forward directly, activating immortal patterns and golden light mantra. The familiar moon blessing landed on me, making up for my speed disadvantage. I quickly reached the leopard and threw a punch. The shadow leopard growled and charged with a roar. My golden eyes flashed. I suddenly turned and swung my elbow backward. The elbow hit the leopard's jaw, sending it flying into the air. His expression remained calm and composed, one hand firmly gripping the shadow leopard's neck. Under his golden pupils was the mercilessness of a heavenly master. Without any hesitation, he slammed the beast directly into the ground. The shadow leopard spat out blood. Stunned and disoriented from the impact, Song Xinrui quickly appeared beside it. Placing one hand on the shadow leopard, she closed her eyes, activating the taming skill. I thought this attempt wouldn't succeed. After all, Song Xinrui was only level 16, trying to control a level 22 shadow leopard. The level gap was too large, but there was no need to control weak beasts. Yet to my surprise, a strange rune formed in Song Xinrui's hand and successfully entered the shadow leopard's body. Seeing this, even Song Xinrui couldn't help but widen her eyes. She had actually tamed a level 22 shadow leopard. You should know taming was different from summoning. A tamed beast not only obeyed commands like a summon, but also didn't consume mental energy to maintain the contract. Sure enough, the level 22 shadow leopard lay down, licking Song Xinrui's palm, showing no hostility. With the twin-headed flood snake she already had, now paired with a level 22 shadow leopard, even I found it troublesome. As for the boar, aside from eating a lot, it didn't contribute much combat power. I habitually kicked the boar, signaling it to start working. The boar obediently went to the clearing again, to start a new round of baiting. Sure enough, the jungle never lacked alien beasts, but high-quality prey like the boar was rare. Soon, several beasts targeted it. Just as they were about to strike, several figures appeared beside them and struck decisively. The next moment, all those beasts turned into credits. Under this baiting rhythm, even as a team, the three of them scored over 800 points. The external instructors stared at the screen showing 836 points, directly pulling ahead of fourth place Gao Yang by nearly 150 points. The most absurd part was that the three were in a team, with tied scores for first place. In the alien beast forest, I looked at the map of the outer city area, my eyes landing on an icon, Silent Forest. Silent Forest was more dangerous than the swamp forest. The map data showed there were many mutated tree monsters inside. Not only were they dangerous, but tree monsters were hard to kill. Each one seemed to have maxed out vitality. Even a team would take half a day to kill one. So few students targeted Silent Forest. The journey was nearly 20 kilometers, but with the shadow leopard's speed, it only took over 10 minutes to reach the outskirts of Silent Forest. The shadow leopard slowly stopped. As an alien beast, it keenly sensed the danger of this forest. Silent Forest was also known as Death Forest, where not a single bird or insect could be seen, yet the trees grew extremely lush. This eerie scene was much more horrifying than the swamp forest. The boar cowered beside the flood snake in fear. I walked over and kicked it. "You're level 16, why are you still afraid of everything?" The boar looked utterly defeated, surrounded by predators. What could it do? Tree monsters could disguise themselves as ordinary trees, impossible to distinguish with the naked eye. This was their hunting method, camouflaging to the extreme, then striking like lightning. Few prey escaped their grasp, but their attack methods were simple, only using vines and branches to attack. They couldn't move themselves. However, because of their tough bark defense and strong vitality, these tree monsters were very hard to kill. I pulled out some talismans from my pocket, which had detection effects against these tree monsters. The boar breathed a sigh of relief at this, thinking it wouldn't have to rub against tree bark again. I almost threw a talisman at every tree I approached. After pasting over a dozen talismans, I hadn't encountered a single tree monster. Just as I was starting to wonder, I casually threw a talisman at an unremarkable tree. It immediately smoked and burned. The tree suddenly opened a pair of fist-sized blood-red eyes, staring intently at us three. Suddenly, dozens of vines lashed out at us. We quickly dodged, but the boar wasn't so lucky. Letting out a painful squeal, several vines accurately struck its rear. I glanced helplessly at the boar. This guy was truly useless. I activated the immortal patterns and rushed forward, forming a sword finger. Golden light emerged into a 3-foot clear blade, directly using the clear wind sword art. In an instant, I cut through all the approaching vines. Since the bloodthirsty tree demon was rooted in place and couldn't dodge, once someone got close, it could only be beaten passively. A single thrust pierced through the bloodthirsty tree demon's surface. Then a gush of thick blood splattered out. The tree demon went completely mad at this sight, staring at me. If it could speak, it would have roared me to death. But I didn't even blink. Turning around, I thrust another sword in. Just then, dense blood-red vines suddenly grew from the ground. These vines quickly wrapped around my ankles. Seeing this, Shen Yue grew anxious and quickly transformed into her moon elf form. A moonlight sword appearing in her hand, she flapped her light wings and flew over quickly. Each slash fell like moonlight. All the vines snapped again. I never stopped. The sword in my hand fully entered the tree demon's body. The Taoist scriptures recorded, under the golden light, demons and monsters lose their courage and vanish. This type of spirit was especially vulnerable to the golden light mantra. Sure enough, the golden sword exploded inside it. Beams of golden light burst out from within. I pulled Shen Yue back, killing this tree demon by hacking from the outside. It was almost impossible, but from the inside it only took one strike. Sure enough, the bloodthirsty tree demon rapidly withered. All its lush green leaves turned yellow, then scattered like ashes in the wind. A level 21 bloodthirsty tree demon was thus dealt with, becoming credits for the three of us. This was why I chose Silent Forest. Dealing with these spirits was far easier than fighting other alien beasts. Easy to kill and high level too. Let's go. Find the next one. If nothing unexpected, we should break 900 points today, I said. Song Xinrui stared blankly at the tree demon's remains and nodded dazedly. We continued checking tree by tree, soon killing 6 more bloodthirsty tree demons. Our scores reached 915 points. By now it was 6 in the evening. 3 hours left until the exam ended, but we already had enough points and didn't need to farm more. The three of us chatted and laughed as we walked back slowly. Thus I not only passed the exam smoothly, but also broke the school's highest record set by its ace team. Soon all the top universities sent me admission offers. War God University had the most combat classes. With a military-style management system, it also had the most male students. Judgment University was more comprehensive, with all kinds of classes. As long as you met the score requirements, you'd basically be admitted. Holy Bell University, mage and support classes, would choose this place so it had more female students. After thinking it over, I chose the weakest among the top universities, Holy Bell University. Besides aiming for the many pretty girls, it was more because the Heavenly Master class followed the path of meditation and imprinting. Even if I later switched to internal cultivation or artifact refining, it would require a lot of time. In the short term, joining War God University would level up my immortal body faster, but in the long run, it would be a loss. Shen Yue was very happy when she learned I chose Holy Bell University. On the day before enrollment, Shen's parents were already waiting downstairs, ready to send us to school. Though I wasn't their biological son, they had long treated me as one. Now seeing both me and Shen Yue so outstanding, the smiles never left their faces. Yuhang, when you're in university, keep an eye on Yue. She's too naive, Shen's mother habitually reminded me. A familiar scene, just like 3 years ago when we started high school. I nodded. I know, auntie. Just then, while waiting at a red light, I suddenly frowned, my gaze fixed on the nearby crosswalk, where a group of people were waiting for the green light. I narrowed my eyes. After changing to the Heavenly Master class, my perception was very sharp. I felt a strong hostility. That gaze was full of hatred, as if wanting to kill me instantly. But when I looked over, it had vanished. No matter who the enemy was, I had to protect Shen's parents first. Though they were both level 30, they were both subclasses, an alchemist and a mechanical engineer. Neither had combat ability. As the red light was about to end, the crosswalk signal began to turn green. A crowd started walking toward us. I deliberately didn't look that way. Sure enough, the hostile gaze locked onto me again. I used my peripheral vision and quickly identified the target. A tall and thin young man, wearing a mask on a hot day hiding half his face. He blended into the crowd, walking step by step toward us. I lowered my head, already forming the hand seal for the golden light mantra, the immortal patterns faintly showing beneath my clothes. Just then the young man reached the car. In an instant, countless terrifying bone spikes burst from his body, piercing through the windshield toward the four of us. At the critical moment, brilliant golden light erupted from me, my body shielding them. Suddenly a bone spike pierced through the golden light and went straight through my chest. I shouted at the stunned 3 Yue, run. Shen Yue quickly transformed into a moon elf form. Grabbing her parents, she burst out of the car. Seeing this, I breathed a sigh of relief, spitting out a mouthful of blood. Fortunately, the bone spike hadn't hit any vital organs, only passing through my ribs. The golden light turned into a sword and cut the spike off. Seeing I could still move, the humanoid bone spike monster looked shocked. I also recognized what this thing was. It was actually a level 40 or higher skeleton alien. These aliens were as intelligent as humans, with a complete inheritance system. There were 12 major alien races. The skeleton alien was one of them. No one expected that an alien had infiltrated Ningchuan City. At this moment, I clutched my chest, panting heavily as I stared at this skeleton alien. Its bone spikes had broken through my golden light mantra in an instant. The gap in strength was clearly too wide. In the distance, Shen Yue saw the monster before me and also recognized it as an alien, unable to believe it. Shen's mother was nearly in tears. Call the police quickly. The people around saw this and hadn't even realized what was happening. Now the skeleton alien no longer hid, ripping off its clothes. The next moment, a tall, humanoid skeleton monster came into view. The surrounding people panicked and fled in terror. This alien had no flesh at all, its body entirely made of bones. Its bones were tough and strong, a pair of blood-red eyes glowing eerily. It stared intently at me and Shen Yue, a strange smile curling at its mouth. Human genius targets Ye Xiang Shen Yue. Confirmed targets. Hearing this, I finally understood. Looking back at Shen Yue and her parents, I suddenly ran in the other direction. The alien quickly followed, moving extremely fast. Seeing this, Shen Yue flapped her wings and flew swiftly toward me. Meanwhile, the patrol station sounded a piercing alarm. Alert! Alert! An alien has appeared on Zijin Street. The door was slammed open. A ponytailed woman in patrol uniform walked in, looking at the group in the room. She shouted, "What are you waiting for? Didn't you hear the alarm move now?" I weaved quickly through the alleys, relying on my familiarity with the area. The alien couldn't catch up for a while. As I passed a fork in the road, I leaped and disappeared from sight. The alien looked around in confusion, suddenly looking up. A rain of talismans fluttered down from above. I knew I couldn't outrun it, so I might as well fight back. Seeing so many talismans, the alien instinctively raised its hand to block. He never expected these low-level talismans to suddenly burst into flames all at once. The moment they blocked his vision, I held the golden sword, and using the clear wind sword art thrust straight at him, but I still underestimated him. A level 40 alien's combat ability and reaction speed were beyond my imagination. He easily blocked my attack. The alien looked at me with disdain and mocked me for overestimating myself. He formed a bone blade and slashed down at me. I instinctively raised my sword to block, but the golden light sword shattered instantly upon contact. The golden light mantra still couldn't withstand his attack and shattered completely. But in that moment of shattering, it still created a slight delay. Instead of retreating, I pressed forward against the alien, my golden eyes radiating awe and authority. For some reason, when the alien saw those golden eyes, an uncontrollable tremor ran through its heart. I pushed my immortal body to its limit and concentrated the golden light mantra into my right fist. A punch slammed into the alien's jaw, sending it flying high into the air, golden light flashing in my eyes. I pushed off the ground and gave chase. The terrifying power combined with the golden light mantra doubled its effect. My fist rained down on the alien. With the final punch, I smashed the alien into a wall, but soon it slowly emerged from the wall, its blood-red eyes fixed on me, its body almost completely unharmed. Clearly, my earlier attacks hadn't hurt it at all. The skeleton alien's trait was its powerful defense and regeneration, almost like immortality, making it extremely hard to kill. Seeing this, I frowned deeply and decisively chose to retreat, trying to run. The alien tilted its head. Countless bone spikes suddenly burst from its body, blotting out the sky. In an instant, the bone spikes covered a 100-meter radius. Not even a fly could escape. I punched the bone spike wall hard, but felt a recoil. These bone spikes held some kind of force. Brute force couldn't break through. The alien walked over slowly and mocked. Is this the weakness of human geniuses? Perhaps our judgment was wrong. There was no need to pay such a price to eliminate you so-called geniuses. Shen Yue spread her wings and quickly formed over a dozen moonlight blades before her, flying swiftly toward the alien, but it merely swung its blade once, and all the light blades shattered. She spat out blood and fell heavily to the ground. Seeing this, my eyes widened. I let out a roar. Breakthrough. In that instant, I broke through the first seal of the immortal body. Power surged through me. Ding. Congratulations, host, on reaching level 20 and achieving second-class change. Please choose one of the following skills as your second-class skill. The next moment, the familiar small figures appeared before me. The first was the figure with lightning in both hands. The second was the figure surrounded by the strange gate formation. The last was a figure holding a small golden book in one hand and pointing to the sky with the other hand, where a Dao character appeared at the fingertip. Thunderclap method, strange gate escape art, heaven and earth great Dao book. Without any hesitation, I directly chose the thunderclap method. In an instant, golden light blazed around me. Feeling the power behind me, the alien turned its head in surprise. All the golden light on my body was compressed to the limit, and with a crack transformed into white lightning patterns. My figure vanished from the spot. Like a bolt of lightning, a punch slammed into the alien. The lightning erupted with terrifying radiance. At this moment, the alien actually felt the threat of death. It looked at me in disbelief. Thunder magic. How is this possible? You're only level 20, how can you use thunder magic? Only mages above level 50 can use it. The skeleton alien's greatest fear was lightning. Another palm strike. The alien was sent flying, half its body shattered and broken in a pitiful state. The alien stared at me in shock. It was a dignified level 40 bone lord. How could it be defeated by a human youth? It tried to get up, but the lightning inside was wreaking havoc. It couldn't rise. Its powerful regeneration was completely suppressed by the lightning. I held the golden sword and walked toward it step by step, using the thunder method again. The golden sword transformed into a bright white blade, the raging thunder power compressed to the extreme. Looking at the alien before me, I saw my parents who had died before me. I saw the countless aliens breaking through the city, and the bloody slaughter they caused. The alien stared into my eyes. It realized that failing to kill this youth now would mean facing a terrifying enemy in the future. Remember my name. Bai Kai. The alien closed its eyes as if accepting its fate. I narrowed my eyes with a faint smile. Tell the king of hell the name of this heavenly master on your way. Yes, Yuhang. The thunder sword fell. The alien's head flew high. A red mist-like blood spirit emerged from its corpse. I reached out, grabbed it without hesitation, and swallowed it whole. This was the fundamental reason humans and aliens were locked in endless war. Humans could devour alien blood pearls to increase their levels. Aliens could also devour the mental energy of dead human professionals to strengthen themselves, and sometimes gain the professional skills of the humans they killed. After eating the blood pearl, my body erupted with terrifying energy. Enduring the excruciating pain of my body about to burst. Detected massive energy. Please host quickly choose your second class cultivation direction. Internal alchemy, 9 revolutions, purple gold elixir. I immediately chose it. In the distance, a group of patrol officers rushed over. Seeing this scene, they were all stunned. Isn't this year's top scorer, Yuhang? They looked down at the corpse and gasped. A level 40 skeleton alien. Dead. At this moment in my mind, cultivation techniques for the inner elixir surged forth. The 3000 Taoist Scriptures as a foundation allowed me to master it instantly. I sat cross-legged forming hand seals, slowly devouring and dissolving the blood pearl's energy. Unconsciously, it also drove the second layer of immortal patterns. After fully consuming the level 40 blood pearl's energy, my level jumped to 25. Detected host level 25. Would you like to draw a skill? Yes. Draw successful. Obtained Taoist skill Tongtian Lu. Instantly profound Taoist runes appeared in my mind. Just a single talisman could become a top combat class. I opened my eyes and saw Shen Yue asleep on my lap, but I didn't wake her. Instead, I looked around. It was already late at night, and the area was completely sealed off. Tents had been set up around me, seeming to sense I was awake. A beautiful woman in patrol uniform walked in. You're awake. Level 25 at 16. You're terrifying. But I suppose, I heard you were already level 10 when you awakened at 12. Such enviable talent. Today across the country, aliens launched sneak attacks simultaneously. Their target was clear. The top genius students of this year's exam. They wanted to kill human geniuses in the cradle. Several top 20 students were killed. Her eyes filled with anger. How did they infiltrate? I frowned and asked. A department is investigating this. You don't need to worry about it. But this needs to be kept secret. Leaking the news would cause panic. Just then, Shen Yue groggily opened her eyes and saw me looking at her. Her face lit up with joy. Brother Yi, when did you wake up? Just now. Let's go home. I took Shen Yue's hand and walked out of the tent. Not far away, Shen's parents saw the two and hurried over. They looked me up and down for a long time, letting out a long breath of relief only after confirming I was fine. Seeing Shen's mother so frightened, I smiled. Don't worry, I'm fine. They won't kill me that easily. Shen's father looked at the hole in my chest, his expression complex. You definitely can't wear this to school. I have a friend, a level 55 enchantment tailor, who can add attribute bonuses to clothes. How about I get one set for each of you? Enchanted clothes were what hunters, soldiers, or mercenaries, who often went on missions, would wear. It was indeed too early to prepare them for students. But after this incident, Shen's father would hesitate no longer. The two children were lucky this time. They avoided danger. But what if there was a next time? Soon we arrived at a luxurious shop, filled with enchanted clothes. A plump, middle-aged man walked out, his eyes lighting up at the sight of us. Old Shen. Wow, it really is you. Seeing this man, Shen's father also smiled. Yue, Yexiang, this is Uncle Zhong. Hearing this, we politely greeted the middle-aged man Uncle Zhong. Zhong Liang saw us and paused, then suddenly realized. Aren't these this year's top scorers? Shen's father puffed out his chest slightly with pride. The two kids did well. Zhong Liang was genuinely surprised. Shen Tianyang shook his head. The kids are going to Holy Bell University tomorrow. The reason we came now is to trouble you to make a set of enchanted clothes for them. Zhong Liang understood. Not just one set. If you ever need enchanted clothes in the future, just come to me. Those two kids didn't call me Uncle Zhong for nothing. Please have a seat. It'll take some time. Zhong Liang walked into his workshop, closing the door to keep out distractions. Time passed. By 3 in the morning, the workshop door finally opened, under everyone's expectant gaze. A white flowing fairy dress came into view. At first glance, Shen Yue fell in love with it. Zhong Liang smiled. It's not just beautiful. This dress has 6 enchantments. Accelerated mental recovery, mental clarity, light attribute plus 10%. Moon attribute plus 10%, gliding speed plus 20%, concealment. Hearing these enchantments, I couldn't help but admire. They were truly tailored for Yue. Even wing speed was considered. Not a single enchantment was wasted. Tried on. Shen Tianyang said, Shen Yue nodded. She took the dress into the changing room. Soon. She pulled the curtain open and stepped out. At this moment, everyone was captivated by her. She truly looked like a fairy descending from the moon, a slender waist and flowing celestial ribbon, like a celestial maiden descending to earth. Shen Yue looked at herself in the mirror and was also surprised. It's really beautiful. She quickly walked to me and slowly spun around, elegantly asking, Brother Yi, is it pretty? I nodded. Yes, it's beautiful. Now for the second one. What appeared was a purple-collared long Taoist robe. It looked ordinary at first, but the more you looked, the more pleasing it became. Simple and grand. Zhongliang looked at me. It may not have much design, but the enchantments are no worse than Yue's, and they're all combat-oriented. Accelerated mental recovery. Mental clarity. Thunder attribute plus 20%. And according to the records, it's enchanted with the 9 Taoist true words. When you use Taoist-related skills, casting speed plus 10%. Concealment. I took the long Taoist robe and put it on directly. The feeling was instantly different. Like a young Taoist who had lived alone in the mountains for years. With an ethereal aura, the four walked out of the shop and hailed a taxi home. Back at home, I closed my eyes and meditated, imprinting the immortal patterns. Even after jumping straight to level 25, I didn't relax one bit. After a night, I slowly opened my eyes, feeling refreshed and energized. Just then, a military helicopter landed before me. The female patrol officer I'd met yesterday stepped out. Looking at me, she said, "Ready. Time to take you to Kyoto Holy Bell University." In the distance, Shen's parents watched the patrol plane become a tiny dot. Though reluctant, they knew the kids were going to study in Kyoto, a rare opportunity. 4 years. They wondered how far the kids would grow. Holy Bell University. The top mage and support class genius girls from across the country. Almost all gathered here. At a glance, it was mostly girls. Barely any boys in sight. In stark contrast to War God University a mile away, which was almost all boys, with barely any girls. Only Judgment University was balanced, with similar numbers of male and female students. Song Shinrui followed behind, with 3 spirited beasts. Looking at the entrance of Judgment University, her eyes full of anticipation for university life. The 3 university gates formed a triangle on the map, adjacent to each other. Just then, a patrol plane landed in front of Holy Bell University. The surrounding students turned to look. Everyone knew. Yesterday, many genius students had been assassinated by aliens, so they were escorted by special planes. Those on board were, at least, the top 20 geniuses of this year's exam. The next moment, a fair and beautiful girl stepped out of the plane. Her pure and elegant temperament was fully displayed. A faint smile on her face, like an ethereal fairy. Following closely behind her was a handsome and lazy youth, wearing simple blue sportswear with his hair tied back, hands in his pockets. He casually looked around, as expected of a top university, over the summer break. Almost all the freshmen were around level 20. This scene excited the students around. Everyone recognized. These 2 were the ones in the news, who had broken the highest score in exam history. It was rumored they even killed a level 40 alien beast. They didn't expect them to choose Holy Bell. As soon as we entered the school, we attracted a lot of attention. Then 2 people quickly approached from the reception desk. A man and a woman, wearing student union armbands. The tall girl looked at us and said, "Haha, finally got you. Junior Yue, I'll take you to your dorm." The boy nodded. Looking at me, he said, "Junior Yexiang, my name is Lin Feng. I'm in charge of freshman registration. Your dorm is ready, follow me." Soon, Lin Feng brought me to a detached apartment building. Looking at me, he said, "Your dorm is here. Log into the Holy Bell campus network. Enter the student number on your admission letter, and you'll see your dorm number and department class. Feel free to contact me if you have any issues. I'll go now." Lin Feng turned and left. Without hesitation, I walked straight into the dorm building. Just as I reached out to push the door, it swung open. A chubby face full of acne appeared. Suddenly, his eyes widened. "Wow, you're Yixiang." Almost every student this year recognized me. I nodded politely. "Yes, I am. Hello, my name is Feng Miaoquan." I thought it would be similar to a 4-person dorm in high school, but after coming in, I realized that wasn't the case. It was actually quite spacious. A 4-bedroom, 1 living room layout. Each person had a private room of over 10 square meters. I randomly chose one, just as I put down my backpack. A message popped up on my phone. It was from Yue. "Brother Ye, I'm going out to buy some things. Want to come?" "Sure, I'll be right down." Walking past the stairwell, I saw a burly youth walking toward me. I glanced at him, noticing his eyes were full of hostility and displeasure. With even a hint of pressure, I raised an eyebrow. As expected of a top university, there are truly many geniuses. The burly youth also glanced at me and Feng Miaoquan, a trace of disdain flashing in his eyes as he continued upstairs. After he walked away, Feng Miaoquan couldn't help but swallow. I didn't expect him to choose Holy Bell too. This guy's class. Wouldn't War God University be more suitable? What's his background? I asked. First place from Yuhang region, Chen Wanyan. Scored 833 on the exam. Hidden class Dragon Battle Mage. A class strong in both melee and magic. I rubbed my chin. Sounds impressive and he looks fierce. Just then, Shen Yue walked over from a distance, calling out, "Brother Ye." Feng Miaoquan looked in that direction. When he saw Shen Yue, his eyes lit up. Such a beautiful girl. Truly at the level of a fairy. I noticed that Shen Yue had another young beauty beside her, above average looks, but with a great figure. Full and curvy chest. Shen Yue approached and introduced the young beauty beside her. "She's my roommate. Coming with us to shop." The girl with the striking figure looked at me a bit shyly. "Hello, I'm Song Ya." "Hello, I'm Feng Miaoquan." Feng Miaoquan quickly introduced himself. He increasingly felt that following me was an incredibly smart decision. In just a short while, he had seen two such attractive girls. After the four got to know each other, they headed outside the campus. They shopped for 2 hours. Everyone bought a bunch of things. Opening the dorm room, I saw my backpack and its contents scattered all over the floor. Feng Miaoquan was also stunned. The youth who had been sitting on the sofa in a daze, seeing someone finally arrive, was almost moved to tears. "Hello, I'm Wang Jun." Suddenly he looked at me in surprise. "You're Ye Xiang." I didn't speak, just put down my things. Looking at the backpack on the floor, I asked Wang Jun, "What happened?" Wang Jun hesitated, then pointed at one of the doors. "It's exactly what you see. It was thrown out." As soon as he spoke, the door suddenly opened. The burly youth I had seen on the stairs walked out, looking very annoyed at the others. He shouted, "What are you all making noise for? Keep it down, will you?" I looked up, staring at him calmly. My eyes cold. "Did you throw my backpack out? And I picked this room first." Chen Wanyan glanced at the backpack and sneered. "I threw it out. So what? And who said the first one here gets the room?" I smiled. Wang Jun and Feng Miaoquan exchanged glances, feeling the atmosphere in the dorm, suppressed to the extreme at this moment. A top scorer, a Yuhang first. Wow, 2 big shots are about to clash on the first day. I walked step by step to Chen Wanyan. Chen Wanyan looked back at me fearlessly. He suddenly sneered. "No wonder you looked familiar. I remember you now. The top scorer who supposedly relied on girls to team up. A useless Taoist class, was it?" I looked at him calmly. "You have 2 choices. Pick up the things and apologize, or get out of my room. Who are you trying to scare? I won't pick them up." "What are you going to do?" Chen Wanyan mocked. Feng Miaoquan and Wang Jun had a bad feeling. "Sure enough," I nodded, then suddenly raised my hand, grabbing Chen Wanyan by the neck. With a thud, I slammed him to the ground. "You think because my class is Taoist, I'm easy to push around, right?" I said softly. "Then you guessed wrong. I studied the Taoist scriptures for 3 years, just to suppress this violent temper of mine." With that, I suddenly exerted force, easily lifting his body, and threw him toward the balcony. Chen Wanyan couldn't react in time, and was tossed straight off the balcony. Many people saw a figure fall from the 3rd floor. With a thud, he crashed into a tree. I clapped my hands. "Thought you were something special. A level 21 trash acting so arrogant." Suddenly Chen Wanyan's roar came from downstairs, red flames bursting from his body. He stormed back toward the dorm. Seeing this from the balcony, Feng Miaoquan felt nervous. "Ye Xiang, you can't fight. You'll get penalized." "It's fine. If I get expelled, I'll go to the neighboring school," I said casually. Feng Miaoquan was confused. So this is the confidence of a top scorer. Before Chen Wanyan could come up, I jumped straight down from the balcony, hearing the noise. Chen Wanyan turned around. When he saw me, a cruel smile curled at his lips. The useless Taoist sure has guts. A blood-red dragon scale-like armor slowly appeared on his body. He let out a roar. The dragon flames on his body burned even more fiercely. Hearing the commotion, all the surrounding students rushed over. Such an aura at level 21. Undoubtedly, Chen Wanyan was among the top human geniuses. My face showed no expression, and I didn't intend to use my enchanted clothes. After fighting a level 40 skeleton alien, this kind of fight with anger but no killing intent didn't interest me much. Sensing my disregard, Chen Wanyan sneered. "Then let me see just how hollow this top scorer really is." He pushed off hard, his body shooting forward, instantly appearing before me, his fist aiming straight for my face. Dragon Battle Mage. Possess terrifying melee capabilities. If that punch landed, I'd definitely be bruised. Seeing this, the surrounding girls gasped. They also recognized the two. One was top scorer Ye Xiang. The other was Yuhang, first Chen Wanyan. In Yue's dorm, a girl saw the videos flooding the group chat and couldn't help but scream. Top scorer Ye Xiang is fighting someone, and the other is also impressive. Yuhang, first Chen Wanyan. Songya looked up at Shen Yue, seeing her acting as if nothing was wrong. She asked, "Aren't you worried?" Shen Yue looked confused. "Why would I be? Is Chen Wanyan that strong?" Another girl nodded seriously. "Of course, I was in the same middle school as him." Chen Wanyan has a hidden class, Dragon Battle Mage. Strong in both melee and ranged attacks. Is he stronger than a level 40 alien? Shen Yue asked again. The others fell silent. Shen Yue smiled. "Then it's fine." Brother Yi even took an alien's head. Down on the battlefield, Chen Wanyan had thought his punch would at least make the useless Taoist suffer, but to his surprise, his powerful fist was easily caught by the other. I simply raised my hand to grab his fist. Looking him in the eye, Is that all the strength you have? Didn't you eat? Before he could react, just like before, an irresistible force came from the other's hand. Boom. Chen Wanyan was thrown down again. I pressed my knee hard against his neck, raised my fist and slammed it into his back. Boom. A wave of air spread outward. Everyone felt the ground shake. Chen Wanyan spat out blood. But his strong physique wasn't broken by one punch. He still struggled, flames erupting from his body. But under my golden light, those flames couldn't burn me at all. Instead, they felt warm and comfortable. Got some skill and like to act tough, huh? Like to bully classmates. Why not go outside the city to kill alien beasts? Or go to the front lines to kill aliens? With every sentence, I slammed a punch into his spine. Each punch made Chen Wanyan spit blood. Your pride in my eyes is laughable. I stood up and kicked him flying. Chen Wanyan crashed into a ginkgo tree, knocking it down. He spat out more blood. Staring in shock at the young Taoist, he couldn't believe it. A useless Taoist class had more strength than his own war dragon body. And this guy's level was actually 25. How did he level up so fast? He roared again, chanting ancient incantations. Low like a dragon's growl. I frowned slightly. This guy even knows dragon language magic. Truly worthy of a hidden class. Dragon language magic at higher levels was almost comparable to forbidden spells. But this casting speed was a joke. Watching Chen Wanyan stand still, his aura and fluctuations rising rapidly, the golden light on my body began to suppress crazily. In an instant, dazzling lightning burst from me. Brilliant and stunning thunder magic made everyone's gaze shift from Chen Wanyan to me. No one could believe it. This was thunder magic. Chen Wanyan couldn't believe it either. This useless Taoist actually knew thunder magic. Wasn't this a skill only mages above level 50 could master? Crackle. In an instant, I vanished wrapped in lightning, moving at incredible speed. Chen Wanyan couldn't react in time, couldn't even track me with his eyes. From his angle, he could only see a bolt of lightning approaching him. At this moment, he finally realized this guy was someone he could never beat. I appeared before Chen Wanyan in an instant, my fist crackling with blinding lightning, just centimeters from his face. The ferocious lightning curled his hair. The terrifying power made Chen Wanyan's eyes show fear. He felt the threat of death. This punch would kill him. He looked into my cold white lightning pupils and slowly knelt to the ground, completely losing his will to fight. Seeing this, I frowned instead and turned away without a word. This was this generation's human genius. I recalled the level 40 alien that had tried to kill me. Survival between races was only more bloody and cruel. And if all geniuses were like this, how much longer could humanity hold on? Chen Wanyan knelt on the ground in a daze. Hidden class dragon battle mage. Level first in Yuhang. Yet he had been completely dominated from start to finish, without even a chance to fight back. I checked my phone, now on the campus network. It was almost all about me. Chen Wanyan kneeling in disgrace. But not many mocked him. Everyone could see Chen Wanyan's strength. But clearly my strength was greater. At this moment, in Shen Yue's dorm, the girl screamed, staring wide-eyed at the screen. Yexiang, covered in lightning, appearing before Chen Wanyan with his fist inches away, was absolutely stunning. Yue, is Yexiang your brother? Does he have a girlfriend? Shen Yue paused and shook her head. I don't think so. She hadn't expected that in high school. So many people had looked down on brother Ye, but on the first day of university, so many people would like him. On the other side, I calmly returned to the dorm. Feng Miaoquan and Wang Jun stared at me in shock, not knowing what to say. He had easily dealt with Chen Wanyan. Just how strong was this guy? The door closed. I entered the room and closed my eyes, sitting cross-legged on the bed, imprinting the immortal patterns, not wasting a moment of cultivation time. The first few cycles of the immortal patterns were quick, but the further they went, the slower they became. And after fighting Chen Wanyan, though it hadn't pressured me at all, I noticed one thing. I had improved too quickly and hadn't fully adapted to my current strength in a life or death battle. This would be a fatal flaw. I didn't know how long had passed. When my phone suddenly rang, I opened my eyes, the profound immortal patterns hidden beneath my skin. I looked down at my phone. It was Yue calling. Brother Ye, don't forget to eat. Come down, I'm waiting for you. After hanging up, I went downstairs. Shen Yue said, Brother Ye, I want barbecue tonight. Song Ye watched the two, growing more envious. She wished she had a brother like that, but she found it a bit strange. They didn't seem like siblings, more like a couple. The three had barbecue near the school, attracting many glances. Military training starts tomorrow. I heard it's a joint training of the three schools, lasting a month. Song Ya said, then I'll get tanned. Shen Yue was surprised. Of course. And we're not allowed to use skincare. I wasn't interested in these topics. Quietly eating barbecue. After a simple meal, the three returned to their dorms. When I got back to the dorm, I saw Chen Wanyan sitting on the sofa. Chen Wanyan saw me return, hesitated, then walked over and said sorry. But when I reach level 25, I'll definitely beat you. Good luck with that. I nodded casually. After all, we were in the same dorm. We'd see each other every day. Sometimes I had a bad temper too, and pulling him out for a beating worked fine. Feng Miaoquan and Wang Jun exchanged glances. Living with these two big shots in the same dorm felt really stressful. At night, I entered the virtual realm. The database automatically connected to Holy Bell's virtual network. I entered the arena with practiced ease, looking at the alien profiles one by one. After a moment, I randomly chose a horned demon, level 35. Still capped. The next moment, a humanoid alien appeared before me. It had a blood-red horn on its forehead, a tall build with strong limbs, muscles like solid rock. The moment it saw me, a cruel grin spread across its face, and it charged at me without a word. I instantly activated the immortal body with golden light surging. After all, I had fought a level 40 skeleton alien against a level 35 alien. I felt confident, but soon, I realized how wrong that thinking was. The moment our fists collided, the terrifying force sent me flying, nearly crippled in one punch. The level 40 skeleton alien excelled in bone spike extensions and regeneration, but it had underestimated me and tried to overwhelm me in melee, ultimately being countered by my lightning, which suppressed its regeneration, and I killed it instantly in close combat, not giving it a chance to use its racial power. But this horned demon was different. Even with my body refining immortal body, a gap of over 10 levels couldn't be overcome with brute force. Feeling the horned demon's power, a smile curled at my lips, my golden eyes radiating cold authority. Every alien was truly powerful, a pressure completely different from alien beasts. Humanity. Could there still be hope to reclaim our homeland? Boom. Dazzling lightning burst forth. My form flickered, and I charged at the horned demon again. In the virtual realm, I couldn't die. If I failed, I'd just try again. And so, in the first half of the night, I frantically selected aliens 10 levels above me to fight. In the second half, I closed my eyes and meditated, imprinting the immortal body. By night, I had completed 2/10 of the progress. At this rate, it would take about 5 days to level up. At dawn, I opened my eyes refreshed and walked straight to the balcony, using the Taoist inner elixir breathing method for abdominal resonance. Soon, wisp of purple energy was drawn into my abdomen. The purple elixir in my chi-si spun rapidly, absorbing the wisps of purple energy in an instant. I rubbed my chin. The Taoist scriptures recorded that after 9 revolutions, the purple elixir would form a nascent soul. I wondered if that was true. What level would that require? After finishing cultivation, a message popped up in the class group. Meet at the classroom at 10 a.m. Feng Miaoquan was surprised. Oh, our instructor is actually this person. Shengqing, level 48 class Holy Priestess. One of Holy Bell's 3 goddesses from the previous year. I didn't expect her to stay as an instructor after graduating. Brother Ye, any thoughts? If you're bold enough, you can get the instructor pregnant. Feng Miaoquan joked. I rolled my eyes. Just then, Chen Wanyan also walked out. After yesterday's incident, his personality had changed quite a bit. Looking at us, he said, "I'm really sorry about yesterday. I was impulsive. I'll make sure it doesn't happen again. We have 4 years of university, it's fine," I said calmly. All right, Chen Wanyan nodded quickly. The 4 went downstairs to the classroom. A sea of female students looked up. Almost all the girls' eyes were on me. The 4 found seats and sat down. Just then, a woman in a white strapless dress walked in through the door. White hair, wearing gold-rimmed glasses. Her figure was almost perfect. She was Xu Mengmeng. She came to the podium, looked at everyone with a smile, and said calmly, "Everyone should be here. Let me introduce myself first. My name is Xu Mengmeng, level 48 Holy Priestess. Unless something unexpected happens, I will be your instructor for the next 4 years. It's your first time entering university, and it's my first time being an instructor. So I hope that in the coming 4 years, we can progress together and work hard together." After listening to Xu Mengmeng's introduction, applause rang out in the classroom. Almost no one would dislike. Such a beautiful teacher. And she was also so capable. Xu Mengmeng smiled slightly. "Let's start with the boys introducing themselves, so everyone can get to know each other. And also state your height and weight. I'll get your military training uniforms later." After each person took turns introducing themselves, everyone had a simple understanding of each other. "All right, you're free to move around now. I'll go get your military training uniforms. Ye Xiang Chen Wanyan, you two come help me." After the two returned to the classroom together, they began distributing the military training uniforms. After confirming the sizes were all correct, Xu Mengmeng looked at everyone and said, "Gather at the playground at 8 p.m. tonight. The month-long military training will begin. This military training will involve all freshmen from the 3 schools together. We'll head to a military base outside Kyoto for training." I got up, went back to the dorm and packed a few things. Then changed into the military training uniform and headed to the playground. Time slowly reached 8 o'clock. Soon the auxiliary magic class 1 had assembled. Just then the school gate opened. Green heavy trucks drove in. Under the exclamations of all the freshmen, they came before everyone. A soldier got down, walked up to Xu Mengmeng, nodded and saluted, then looked at the students in front and shouted, "Everyone board the trucks." As everyone got on board, the lively playground became empty in an instant. The heavy military trucks came quickly and left even faster. The military training awaiting this batch of students would be hellish training, regardless of gender. The reason was that half a month ago, several border defenses of China had fallen simultaneously. Tens of thousands of soldiers had all died, though emergency reinforcements later recaptured the borders. This had already sent a signal that the aliens were planning another major offensive against humanity. Time passed slowly, almost 7 or 8 hours, until 3 or 4 in the morning when the heavy trucks finally stopped. Everyone got off one by one. The view suddenly opened up, as if they had arrived at a military factory. Everyone couldn't help but widen their eyes. As more and more students got off, they found the place densely packed with people, numbering nearly 10,000. Clearly all the freshmen from the 3 top universities were gathered together. Just then, densely packed, tens of thousands of spherical electronic devices flew over, landing in front of each student. Everyone was stunned. Aren't these the auxiliary intelligence units exclusive to military soldiers? What exactly is going on? Soon, an auxiliary intelligence unit also flew in front of me. Its electronic eye scanned me from top to bottom. The intelligent voice said, "Number auxiliary magic class 0713. Bound user Yuhang. Age 16, level 25, class Taoist. Binding successful. Hello comrade Yuhang. I will be your auxiliary intelligence unit for the month-long training, responsible for customizing your personal training tasks, attendance and evaluation, those with excellent evaluations. Will enter the officer training system from their freshman year." At this moment, everyone had such auxiliary intelligence units in front of them, and they all looked at each other. Officer training system, starting from freshman year. Doesn't this mean graduating and joining the military 4 years early? Xu Mingming's expression turned serious. She immediately guessed that something must have happened at the front lines. Perhaps to avoid causing domestic panic. The frontline situation hadn't been made public, but it probably wouldn't stay hidden for long. She looked up at the entire underground training ground, her expression somewhat complicated. They were directly using a military base for these freshmen's military training. Could these children really handle it? At the same time, at the top of the base, sat a white-haired old man, his expression unchanged as he watched the screen. On the screen were the 10,000 freshmen. They represented the top talent of this generation's future. This old man was known to everyone in the country. He was the current chief of China, Zhouan. Just then the door opened. The secretary walked in. Nodding at the old man, he said, "Chief, everything is ready." Old Joe slowly closed his eyes, a look of reluctance and helplessness on his face. "Then begin the guidance. I hope these children won't hate me in the future." The secretary pursed his lips, reached out and clicked confirm on the screen. All the auxiliary intelligence units emitted a prompt. Military training mission activated. Log into the virtual realm. Kill the target within 10 minutes. Support classes can team up with combat classes, but the targets will increase accordingly. The top 500 finishers will receive 1 point. As soon as the auxiliary intelligence unit finished speaking, my vision went dark. The next moment, I entered the virtual realm. The environment was still this military base. Only 5 people were around me, and those 5 were the 5 girls who had agreed to team up earlier. They looked at me and breathed a slight sigh of relief. I noticed a 1-minute countdown before me, with 54 seconds remaining. The mission should start soon. Stay together and watch your surroundings. When the target appears, prioritize your own safety first. Leave the rest to me, I said. The 4 girls nodded. The moment the countdown ended, 5 aliens suddenly appeared before us. They had blood-red skin, hunched bodies, crawling on the ground, blood beast aliens. All level 22. I didn't hesitate. Forming a hand seal, a layer of golden light quickly covered my body. Dazzling lightning instantly burst forth. Before the girls could react, I charged forward. In a flash of lightning, the heads of all 5 blood beast aliens were severed. Blood splattered everywhere. Challenge complete. Challenge time, 12 seconds. The auxiliary intelligence unit said, as soon as it finished, everyone was forcibly logged out of the virtual realm and returned to reality. The girls were completely dazed, standing there in a stupor, still shocked by my terrifying strength. At the same time, the auxiliary intelligence unit beside me said, "Comrade Yuhang, your challenge time this time is 12 seconds. Currently ranked first." Soon, different names began appearing on the leaderboard, with details including school department and class, and my name remained at the top. After automatically leaving the team, the auxiliary intelligence unit looked at me and said, "You have completed the first mission. Would you like to continue?" After seeing that Shen Yue had also completed the mission, I nodded to continue. Physical fitness test. Please proceed to the designated testing room. The auxiliary intelligence unit said. Soon I arrived at a futuristic training room. I stood on the platform. The next moment, a blue light scanned from head to toe. Strength 139, stamina 89, cell strength 3 stars. Comprehensive rating D rank warrior. Meets control permission. I knew what this data was. It was indeed measuring physical data. D rank warrior was one of the military's comprehensive combat assessment standards. But what did meets control permission mean? A level 25 combat class was only considered an E rank warrior. This showed that my physical fitness had already reached above level 30, and this was without using the immortal body. Testing complete. starting the second mission. Infiltration. Please, Comrade Ye Xiang, enter the virtual realm again. The auxiliary intelligence unit said. I nodded. Data linking to the neural brain. But this time, for some reason, the connection was very slow. My vision was pitch black. I could only see a long string of data. Loading 1%, 12%, 55%, slowly ticking up. At the same time, above the base. Over a dozen scientists' eyes suddenly focused on the screen. A student has passed the test and is already synchronizing the port to link with the mechanized warrior. Data is being transmitted. Yes, Young? Is he this year's top scorer? Truly excellent. He's already level 25, and his physical fitness test requires matching a level 30 mechanized warrior. That's a bit exaggerated. An elderly scientist looked up at this, wisdom shining in his eyes. He was currently the top figure in China's scientific field. Level 89 top mechanical neural engineer, Yang Huiming. Everyone watched my status on the screen, and a mechanized warrior made of titanium alloy, thousands of kilometers away. Link loading successful. As soon as it finished, I opened my eyes, but found myself in what seemed to be a military warehouse. Just then, an auxiliary intelligence unit came over. Looking at me, it said, Comrade Ye Xiang, please proceed to the marked location on the map and wait in ambush for an alien squad to approach. After confirming the target, I set out directly. When I walked out of the military warehouse, the scene before me was somewhat shocking. A desolate red earth, abandoned bases, corpses everywhere. Some were alien beasts, some were human. Without much hesitation, following the map coordinates, I quickly headed toward that location. Soon, I arrived at the marked location. Not far away, a 7-man alien squad came into view. These 7 had bodies like molten rock, occasionally erupting with magma flames as they walked. Standing nearly 3 meters tall, like small giants very strong, I narrowed my eyes. Inferno aliens, with ridiculously high physical and magical defense. The hardest aliens to kill besides the skeleton aliens, especially for fire mages facing Inferno aliens. It was like facing a natural enemy. They were basically immune. 7 Inferno aliens averaging level 30. Didn't seem unbeatable. I focused on the last Inferno alien, which was the lowest level at only 28. Killing one first would reduce the pressure significantly. In the military base thousands of kilometers away, the commander noticed this and couldn't help frowning. The so-called instruction was exactly what he had issued. Currently only I was linked to a mechanized warrior and had begun the mission. He said seriously, are all students this reckless these days? Even if he thought it was the virtual realm and wouldn't really die, what was the point of being so reckless? After the mission ends, just give him a low score. Even if he's the top scorer, I won't give him any favor. Another subordinate of the commander shook his head helplessly. One mechanized warrior was worth millions, and it was destroyed just like that. Sigh. Most importantly, there weren't many mechanized warriors at the front lines to begin with. Currently, only 500 units existed. Clearly, everyone could see I was about to act. But could a level 25 Taoist take on 7 average level 30 Inferno aliens at once? Did he really think the battlefield was like the child's play of the college entrance exam? Sure enough, I acted with explosive speed. Seeing this, many commanders nodded. This top scorer did have some skill. By now I had already reached the last Inferno alien. It obviously sensed the movement and quickly turned around, but what met its eyes was a talisman. The moment the heavy water talisman landed on it, it exploded like a waterfall. A massive surge of water pressure pinned it heavily to the ground. With a sizzle, like cold water hitting a hot pan, thick white smoke rose from the Inferno alien. Before it could get up, I used the clear wind sword art. Sharp sword light all falling on it. In an instant, dozens of strikes. I calmly walked past the Inferno alien, slowly forming a hand seal, and softly chanted, "Within lies the hidden name of the Thunder God." As the words fell, its body was blown to pieces. At this moment, not only had the remaining 6 Inferno aliens not reacted, even the group of commanders thousands of kilometers away were stunned by the stunning scene. That kid was too cool. A female commander couldn't help covering her face, full of admiration. And all of this was only the beginning of my conquest of the battlefield. Facing the remaining 6 Inferno aliens, I drew talismans in the air with my left hand, my eyes lowered. Decree, confusion, chaos. The talisman split. Suddenly 4 or 5 identical figures appeared, attacking the aliens together. Naturally, only one was real. I came before a level 30 Inferno alien, and slashed down hard. Without a word, the Inferno spit out a stream of magma fire, bursting toward me. Scorching heat swept over. I turned sideways and charged straight through the flames, reaching the Inferno. A punch slammed down. The Inferno was stunned by the force. I didn't stop. Punch after punch, over a dozen punches in an instant, blowing the Inferno's head apart. 5 left. I pivoted. While attacking, I drew talismans in the air again. As soon as a spirit talisman was formed, I threw it at the remaining Inferno aliens. Level 30 Inferno aliens, aside from being tough, could only spit fire. The rest relied on their high-hardness magma bodies for attacks, limited in means. They were essentially vanguard tanks. A binding talisman landed on them and shattered, turning into long spiritual energy chains, wrapping and binding them all together. The 5 Inferno warriors were furious, roaring as they tried to break free, but the next moment, a violent force suddenly erupted from me, aiming at the remaining 5 Inferno aliens. Palm thunder. Boom! A violent lightning ball blasted from my hand. The 5 Inferno aliens exploded and shattered instantly, all slain. After doing this, I let out a long breath, my internal spiritual energy almost depleted, stunning the command room. A level 25 student had annihilated an average level 30 alien squad. Commander Zhou also took a long while to recover, and immediately issued an order. The auxiliary intelligence unit quickly said, "Comrade Yuhang, you have completed the mission, killed 7 level 30 aliens, obtained 210 credits. Now please return to the military warehouse immediately." I turned and went back the same way. However, on the way back, I encountered a 5-man human soldier squad, averaging level 35. When they saw me, they paused. One of them walked over and said, "I'm from the Special Action Team, Pei Xian, here for support. Has the target been eliminated?" I nodded. "The target has been cleared. Returning now." Pei Xian nodded. "Looks like the newly developed mechanized warriors from the rear are quite useful." In his eyes, I currently appeared as a mechanized warrior, and in my eyes, he was just a data-simulated projection of himself. So communication between us was seamless. Pei Xian saluted me and turned away. A battle had just ended, and the aliens were constantly sending scouts to investigate the human situation in this area. The 7 Inferno aliens I had just eliminated were one of the squads sent by the aliens. On the way back, I looked at the gruesome corpses around, my expression growing heavier. I didn't know when I had returned to the military warehouse. "Congratulations, Comrade Ye Xiang. This mission is complete. Today's missions are over. Credits accumulated 211 points. Today's evaluation excellent. Reward 10 points. Please continue your efforts tomorrow." The auxiliary intelligence unit looked at me and said. I nodded calmly and exited the virtual realm. I was still in the testing room, but this time the feeling of the virtual realm was like a lifetime ago. I stood up, pushed the door open and walked out. At this moment on the big screen, the top 500 students had been selected. Shen Yuvei and Chen Wanyan both successfully made the top 500, while I remained in first place. But compared to the others behind my name, there was an additional 211 credits. What I didn't know was that my earlier feat had now swept through the military's high command. I went to the dormitory area and checked the time. It was only 1 a.m., and my mission was already over. This military training didn't seem so tough. I closed my eyes to cultivate, imprinting the immortal patterns. As the body-refining immortal body grew stronger, I could also feel my combat power steadily increasing, the immortal patterns on my body flickering in and out. Suddenly, I noticed today's meditation imprinting speed was far faster than before. I was a bit surprised. Normally, I also fought alien beasts in the virtual realm. Why was it faster this time? It felt almost like a real battle. A night passed quickly in cultivation, when the 6th cycle of immortal patterns was half imprinted. I suddenly opened my eyes. Stepping out of the dorm, I immediately used the inner elixir breathing method. In moments, a few wisps of scorching purple energy entered through my mouth and nose, falling into my dantian. The purple elixir began spinning rapidly, quickly absorbing the wisps of purple energy. A mysterious aura spread through my body. The moment the Tao resonance enveloped me, my pupils turned purple. Spiritual energy rushed to my spirit platform. The 3000 Taoist Scriptures I had once read in my mind, it was as if the pages were being rapidly turned again. Many Taoist scriptures I had not understood before suddenly became clear at this moment. When I came back to my senses, the sun had already risen high into the sky. My whole body felt warm, very comfortable. The purple elixir breaking through one layer directly raised me by 1 level. I checked the time and found that only about 10 minutes had passed. But that feeling just now was truly amazing. I was about to turn back when a familiar elderly figure walked out of the elevator. He looked at me with a smile. "Young man, your fight yesterday was brilliant. Keep it up from now on." Chief Zhou looked at me and smiled. I suppressed my excitement and nodded seriously. Zhou nodded with satisfaction. "The more children like you there are, the more hope China has. You can take the elevator up every morning. Don't worry about it too much." After taking the elevator down, my heart was still beating fast. No wonder this was a secret base. I didn't expect that he would be here too. After returning to the dorm, I found everyone gathering in the square. I noticed the credits on the big screen. Only the top 500 could enter the physical fitness test. The rest were assigned simple training tasks. Later I learned that the top 500 entered the virtual realm to simulate real battlefield missions. On the big screen, second place had only 132 points. It was Mu Qingyun from War God University, also a hidden warrior class. Third place was Chen Wanyan, 105 points. Fourth was Shen Yue, 102 points. And my score was 221 points, directly crushing everyone. Especially since many people had negative scores. That meant they failed the mission. and were killed on the battlefield. In the command room, Jing looked at the data with a headache. Only 500 people. Over 300 failed the mission. 120 died. Over 200 mechanized warriors were severely damaged. Over 100 were directly scrapped. What kind of military training is this? Seeing Jing so angry, the other commander assistants dared not speak. This result far exceeded their expectations. Simply unpresentable. The main issue was class coordination. Some people's classes weren't suitable for solo missions. They had all been individually linked to mechanized warriors yesterday. The data needed to be readjusted. The mission accuracy must perfectly match each student. A level 65 career analyst spoke up. Jing frowned upon hearing this. That was indeed the case. Change Xiang's database to combat class. This guy has such powerful melee attacks. Why did he apply to the auxiliary magic class really? Boss, didn't you also apply to Holy Bell for the girls back then? This kid probably did too. A commander couldn't help but laugh. Class assemble. Xu Mengmeng comforted some students, then said, "This military training is different from before. I'm sure you've all noticed. Complete the tasks as planned by your auxiliary intelligence units. Strive to meet the requirements." Upon hearing this, everyone looked enviously at me, Shen Yuwei and Chen Wanyan. Currently only we in the class had met the requirements, and all in the top 10. Xu Mengmeng then came to the three of us and said seriously, "Work hard. This is a good opportunity, seize it." I nodded calmly. Chen Wanyan nodded with passion and grinned. "Don't worry, teacher. We won't embarrass our class." Only Shen Yuwei looked a bit worried. She was detail-oriented and seemed to have noticed something. "Comrade Xiang, please proceed to the testing room to log into the virtual realm. The mission has been issued." The auxiliary intelligence unit beside me said. I nodded and headed straight to the testing room. After successfully linking, I opened my eyes again, looked around, and found nothing changed from before logging off. In the command room thousands of kilometers away, Jing stroked his chin, wondering whether to assign me teammates. Although this guy was very strong, he was a bit disobedient and would take risks at any moment. A whole team might get wiped out. Forget it. Let him go solo for a few days and see. Comrade Xiang, today's mission has been issued. Hold this coordinate. Don't let any alien pass. The auxiliary intelligence unit said. I opened the map after hearing this. After confirming the location, I walked out of the warehouse and found the outside scene unchanged. Only all the human corpses had disappeared, leaving behind the reddish-brown earth, full of devastation. The scene and atmosphere before me couldn't help but make one feel sorrowful. Soon, I arrived at the coordinate marked on the map and looked around. This place seemed to have just experienced a bloody battle. The ground was covered with the corpses of alien beasts and humans. I came to the very front of the defensive line, my gaze fixed on the distance, my eyes cold as ice. Time passed slowly. I didn't know how long it had been, when finally a blood-beast alien squad slowly advanced toward this area. Seeing this, I didn't move, and remained prone on the ground. This blood-beast squad had a full 12 members. The one at the front was slowly walking toward me. I pressed close to the ground, immortal patterns gradually appearing on my body, my left hand silently drawing talismans in the air. When the distance was only about 10 meters, the level 30 blood beast suddenly sensed something. It walked step by step toward the mechanized warrior. I kept my head down. When the distance was only 5 meters, the blood beast suddenly extended dozens of blood threads, whipping toward me in an instant. At that moment, I exploded into action, throwing out several talismans. Blazing flames exploded around the blood beast, blocking all visibility. I formed a hand seal. A golden light sword condensed on my sword finger, piercing through the blood beast's neck in an instant. Blood splattered high. The blood beast's head fell to the ground. The remaining 11 blood beasts stared in shock, completely unable to process that their leader had died just like that. The 11 blood beasts charged madly, surrounding and engulfing me. But the next moment, dazzling lightning erupted. The 11 blood beasts in range were all numbed by the electricity. Miserable screams rang out one after another. With a boom, they all exploded, leaving no trace. Killed 12 blood beast aliens. Obtained 348 points. The auxiliary intelligence unit said. At the same time, in the military base, many students still struggling through their tasks also noticed my score skyrocketing again. This guy is a monster. In the command room, Jing watched me instantly kill 11 blood beasts, shock flashing in his eyes. Even though my level had surpassed many peers, a level 26 killing 11 level 28 blood beasts instantly, even trained elite soldiers couldn't easily do that. Thunder magic, which only mages above level 50 could master. At this stage, this kid was practically invincible. A commander remarked. Everyone nodded. Wait, look, 24 more blood beast targets detected. 2 scout squads are heading toward him quickly. A female commander suddenly said. Everyone looked at the radar map. Sure enough, 2 blood beast scout squads were rapidly approaching the front line. Jing frowned slightly. This scout squad had just been eliminated, and the enemy had reacted so quickly. He controlled the auxiliary intelligence unit to scan the level 30 blood beast corpse I had killed earlier. Soon he found that though the head was severed, Its blood threads were still active and could emit an undetectable odor, which spread as a signal wave. Please evacuate this area immediately. Hearing this, I turned to look at the blood beast's body, gathered a mass of lightning in my hand, and threw it directly. The blood beast's body was blown to pieces. What about now? I asked the auxiliary intelligence unit. Confirmed dead. I nodded, opened the map coordinates, and saw over 20 red dots approaching me rapidly. Very fast. 6 level 33rd class blood beasts, the rest ranging from level 25 to 29. The auxiliary intelligence unit analyzed. I nodded. Small problem. I spread my arms and started drawing talismans with both hands simultaneously, one talisman after another floating before me. Soon, the 2 blood beast scout squads had me completely surrounded. I still didn't stop, my hands drawing faster and faster. 6 level 30 blood beasts slowly crawled out. The several blood beasts exchanged glances, suddenly bursting with dense blood threads aimed at me, and I had no intention of dodging. I threw out 10 spirit talismans, binding 10 blood beasts instantly. The other end of the spiritual chains was in my hand. The immortal body erupted with immense power. I pulled hard, and all 10 blood beasts were dragged before me, with one hand forming a hand seal. Golden light quickly gathered on my sword finger, turning into a golden sword, a flash of sword light. The heads of the 10 blood beasts before me were all severed. I still didn't stop. Using the clear wind sword art, bloody chunks mixed with blood fell everywhere. A level 30 blood beast was the first to reach me, its sharp claws clashing with the golden sword. The forces were evenly matched. It opened its gaping maw, aiming for my neck. I stepped back and kicked it high into the air, but more blood beasts closed in. The next moment, immortal patterns and golden light surged across my body. Their powerful defense blocked all the blood beast attacks. Seeing this, everyone in the command room widened their eyes. The blood beast's sharp fangs and claws couldn't even break through. What kind of skill was this? Was this kid a Taoist or a tank? A cold smile curled at my lips. I raised both hands and grabbed 2 blood beasts by the neck, squeezing hard, their fragile bodies, in my hands like little chicks, snapped instantly. This was slaughter. Zhou stared at the scene, a flicker of doubt suddenly passing through his eyes. Purple robe, golden light, thunder magic. It seemed he had once seen similar skill descriptions in a very old book. He looked up at the data analyst and asked, besides Taoist, what other classes are related to Taoism? The century-old database shows, besides Taoist, related classes include Maoshan Taoist, Alchemist, Artifact Refiner, Qigong Master. These classes are all average, belonging to the middle-lower tier of similar classes. The female commander suddenly frowned in confusion. People who changed to these classes often mentioned in their later years a class that had never appeared, saying the reason Taoism never rose was because this class had not yet appeared. What class? Zhou asked. Heavenly Master, on the big screen. A young man in a purple Taoist robe, with golden light in one hand, and thunder magic in the other. Drawing talismans in the air from time to time, blood beasts pounced viciously, each one higher in level than me, though blood beasts were the weakest. Of the 12 major alien races, they still mastered alien techniques, no weaker than combat classes. This scene would be a near-death experience for any human warrior. Yet this young man was slaughtering. No blood beast could last more than 3 seconds before me, punch after punch to the head. The scene was bloody and fierce. In moments, only 4 level 30 blood beasts remained around me. They stared at me intently, with expressions of disbelief. What was this strange machine made by this human? What was going on? The 4 level 30 blood beasts' blood threads intertwined, exchanging information in an instant. 2 blood beasts began to retreat. The other 2 chose to continue attacking me. Seeing this, the commanders in front of the screen immediately guessed. They were trying to escape. I understood and nodded. Facing the 2 level 30 blood beasts, I stood still, but compressed all my golden light to the limit, suddenly losing the protection of the golden light mantra. Seeing this, the 2 level 30 blood beasts thought it was an opportunity, and lunged with grinning mouths. The moment they got close, dazzling lightning burst forth. The 2 blood beasts suddenly lost sight of me, then felt their bodies go numb, losing all sensation. The 2 blood beast bodies exploded. That swift white light shot through the debris, turning into a line, in an instant catching up to the 2 fleeing blood beasts. With a crackle of lightning, it passed through their bodies. When my figure was scanned by the auxiliary intelligence unit again, the heads of the 2 blood beasts flew high, their bodies blown to pieces by the thunder magic. I breathed heavily. The spiritual energy in my inner elixir was completely depleted. The lightning on my body slowly faded, while in the research and command rooms, thunderous applause erupted. Even the scientists who had spent their lives in research couldn't help but feel their blood boil after watching my battle. Their adrenaline rising, they wished they could grab a wrench and charge to the front lines. In the chief's office, old Joe couldn't help but laugh heartily. If nothing unexpected, in the near future of humanity, a dazzling star would appear. That golden light and brilliant thunder magic, whenever seen, would give people a sense of hope rising. He represented The future of humanity. A level 26 killing over 20 Blood Beast scouts, averaging level 28. This achievement shocked everyone. A young boy, already displaying the spirit of a soldier king. At the same time, in the military base, the top scorer's points rapidly rose again, breaking through to 1,103 points in an instant, while second place only had over 200 points. The top 500 students looked at this score and swallowed hard. How many aliens had this guy killed? A Taoist playing slaughter. Chen Wanyan stared blankly at the leaderboard, clearly recognizing the gap, and clenched his fists slightly. He still needed to work hard. He was a hidden class. Dragon Battle Mage. There was no reason to lose to a Taoist. Having just finished the battle, I didn't choose to return to the warehouse, but walked back to the battlefield, sat cross-legged, and activated the purple elixir to quickly recover spiritual energy. Opening my eyes, my energy was fully internalized, my gaze deep. I had already returned to peak condition. I stood up, looked at the Auxiliary Intelligence Unit, and asked, "Are there any other missions?" The Auxiliary Intelligence Unit turned its head upon hearing this. There were no other instructions. "Please continue to hold this position, Comrade Yuhang." Just then, the Auxiliary Intelligence Unit suddenly flashed red, a circle rapidly expanding. On the map, countless red dots suddenly appeared, detected over 1,000 Blood Beast aliens approaching rapidly. "Comrade Yuhang, please retreat immediately." Sure enough, in the distance many Blood Beast aliens could already be seen, rushing toward this area at high speed. At the same time, in the command room, Zhou Jing watched the screen and quickly issued orders for the nearest troops to rush to support. No wonder the scouts kept coming. These things actually chose to attack here. He glanced at the large map and frowned slightly. The aliens clearly planned to quickly break through this defensive line and encircle the main human forces on the other flank. The Blood Beast numbers far exceeding normal levels last night already showed that Zhou Jing had chosen to send me to this position because he guessed that the Blood Beast aliens which had remained hidden would heavily attack this area. He had already sent a military unit to head this way, along with 300 new mechanized warriors. The setting sun hung high, stretching my shadow long. Over 1,000 Blood Beasts charged madly at me, brutal and fierce. The next moment, a golden light, like a blazing sun, brilliantly burst forth. Even from far away, it could be clearly seen. I didn't need to find targets. My golden eyes full of authority, I pushed the immortal body and golden light mantra to their limits. After violently smashing the first few blood beasts that reached me, I suddenly raised my hands and grabbed two by the neck, leaping into the air. I rose high above. I gathered all the lightning in my hands. The two blood beasts I had brought up were instantly blown to pieces. Looking down at the countless blood beasts below, a cold smile curled at my lips. "Here's something good for you." Palm thunder. Twin lightning balls blasted from my hands toward the ground below. All the blood beasts felt the terrifying thunder pressure, fear on their faces, but they couldn't dodge in time. With a boom, the violent thunder magic exploded. The blood beasts were instantly engulfed in white light. One palm thunder killed nearly 100 blood beasts, clearing a vacuum zone. I fell back down, forming a sword finger. The golden light sword condensed and formed. The immortal body and clear wind sword art were used simultaneously. In the military base, many people noticed my score rising again, and it was rising terrifyingly fast. Look quickly, this freak is farming points again. Damn, what exactly happened? The score doubled in an instant. It's still rising. God, so fast. 100 points every few seconds. I'm going crazy. I've died twice, and only have 200 points. This Yuhang must be cheating. Is there a hack in the virtual realm? War God University. A student finally couldn't help shouting. In an instant, it struck a chord. Some were still suffering for 100 points. Many more didn't even qualify for the test. And this guy in first place had already farmed nearly 3,000 points. Seeming to notice the agitation among the students in the military base, a female commander couldn't help but worry. These students all seemed suspicious. Zhou Jing's eyes were fixed on Yuhang's screen. Hearing this, a cold smile curled at his lips. I've been too considerate of them. If I showed them this kid's performance, all these so-called geniuses would be utterly ashamed. Better to spare their feelings, so they don't get crushed. Then what now? Simple. Just hide Yuhang's score, so they can't see it. Seek. They're pitiful too. Being in the same year as this freak Taoist is truly unfortunate. Zhou Jing remarked with some emotion. The female commander nodded and turned to carry out the operation. At this moment in the military base, almost all the students and instructors were staring at the score behind my name. Even Xu Mengmeng was beginning to suspect if he was really cheating. Just as the score broke through 3,000, it suddenly disappeared. Everyone widened their eyes. What's going on? At the same time, on the front line, having been slaughtering madly, my inner elixir's spiritual energy was soon depleted again. After all, my level was still low. The thunder magic couldn't sustain my reckless spending. In the end, I relied on the second layer of the immortal body to keep smashing. My powerful physical strength let me grab a blood beast and tear it apart. Knock down again and again, getting back up each time. Even more savage than the blood beasts, stronger than the horned demons, tougher than the inferno aliens. Just then, a hunched but incredibly swift blood beast, holding a bone blade, closed in instantly, piercing through the immortal patterns with cruel precision, and piercing my chest. In another instant, severing my limbs. The attack speed was terrifyingly fast. I couldn't react in time, and my body collapsed helplessly to the ground. In my peripheral vision, I saw the blood beast with a savage grin on its face. It was thin and withered, covered in blood threads, its head oval and elongated. The first time I saw it, I felt it was utterly evil, like a demon. Level 55, an elite blood beast ace. Bloodthorn King. Soon I lost all mobility and was torn apart by countless blood beasts. The Research Institute quickly reacted and cut the link a step earlier. I felt my vision go dark and saw nothing. But soon, I opened my eyes again and found myself back in the testing room. The Auxiliary Intelligence Unit quickly came before me. Comrade Ye Xiang, you have completed the mission perfectly. Evaluation excellent. Credits plus 10. I fell silent, my mind replaying the images of the fallen soldiers' remains, the savage blood beasts, and that terrifying blood beast elite, the Bloodthorn King. I wouldn't forget that ugly and vicious face. Without a word, I sat down cross-legged and began recovering quickly. Half an hour later, I opened my eyes and looked at the Auxiliary Intelligence Unit. I request to go online again. The nearly 1,000 blood beasts had clearly broken through the front line. I didn't know if those dozen or so people had escaped. Seeing this, Zhou couldn't help but smile helplessly. This kid. The Auxiliary Intelligence Unit didn't respond to me, but opened a holographic screen. In the video, after my mechanized warrior was destroyed, 1,000 soldiers had quickly reached this battle line to repel the blood beast charge. Though I hadn't bought much time, I had achieved a critical delay. Otherwise, this line would have been lost, and retaking it would cost even more. I stared intently at the screen, and soon noticed 3 very skilled soldiers. One was an earth elemental mage, with a single earth burial. He collapsed dozens of meters of ground, instantly burying hundreds of blood beasts. Another was clearly a warrior class, wielding twin blades, his body surging with blood energy as he slaughtered blood beasts. The last one hid mostly in the shadows, wearing a black robe. Hard to notice? Only a pair of cold, stunning eyes visible, fixed on the level 55 Bloodthorn King among the blood beasts. The next moment, her figure vanished, like a ghost, reappearing behind the Bloodthorn King. 2 sharp daggers in her hands, like a black cross slash. With a sound, 2 bloody holes pierced through the Bloodthorn King's back. It was aimed at the neck, but the target had reacted quickly and barely dodged. A powerful earth elemental mage, a berserker, and a shadow assassin. I immediately guessed the identities of these 3. The Ace Slayer team, humanity's elite unit. Those who entered it were all without exception top experts, tasked with hunting the strong among the aliens. Like this level 55 Bloodthorn King, under the siege of the 3, the Bloodthorn King was soon on the defensive. Even though its level was slightly higher, it couldn't break free. The 3 coordinated perfectly. Finally, the Berserker man let out a roar, his twin blades beheading the ugly Bloodthorn King. Blood sprayed over him, but his face showed excitement. He charged even more wildly at the other blood beasts. Minutes later, the 1,000 blood beasts were cleared. The 3 Ace Slayer members turned and left without a word. I stared blankly at the screen, my hand clenching slightly. So strong. When will I be this strong? The Ace Slayer team was almost the dream of every young person in China, a special unit they all longed to join. It was undoubtedly home to human elites, having created too many achievements and glory over the past decades, especially the leader of the Ace Slayer team, Tianwang Luo Jin. A true late. After closing the video, the Auxiliary Intelligence Unit looked at me and said, "Comrade Ye Xiang, rest well. Prepare for tomorrow's mission." I nodded and said no more. I stood up and walked out of the testing room. The moment the door opened, everyone's eyes turned to me in unison. I asked in confusion, "What's wrong?" Feng Miaoquan couldn't help but rush over. "Brother Ye, are you using cheats?" "What cheats?" I asked in confusion. Feng Miaoquan pointed directly at the leaderboard. "Look,